that would be like,
Well, I mean, she does come back and she's mostly working. And she's really comfortable in my spots, but because I watched the video. It was kind of jarring because she's in this congregation and they're all getting around her.
yeah, that's the way it was. She's in the middle of it all. She managed to get all of us organized. I'll keep thinking of any more folks I've encountered on my new journey. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Reggie Harris is Amy Carroll, is she? Well, we'll think about it for sure.
Plus, we have to see how this first one goes.
Yeah. I am going to. It is, but it's good.
We have a worship associates meeting with Audette, Reverend Audette. A week from tomorrow? No, a week from today. In the evening. So we'll start to map out things and plan a schedule. One of the things we have talked about addressing is the flow of traffic for the candle lighting.
I'm not sure what's going on.
It's just, well, I mean, what happens is people are coming this way and then they're turning around and going back out the same way. And it's just not very good. I'm not saying it's a big problem, but there may be a better way.
Well, this, yeah, this is way a little more awkward.
Yeah. Well,
Because sometimes it feels like not too many people come to this convention because they're not sure.
maybe we just need this. I don't know, we'll talk about it on the next Sunday. And we'll come up with a different plan. And it may be better or not.
Well, it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, so I just had it timed out. I did this years ago. I figured out how much music. Of course, I keep playing until we're done.
Right.
But I timed it at about 5 minutes. So if it runs longer than that, that's really no good.
Unless people just have a day when you have an unusually high number of people with stuff on their mind, and that happens too.
Yeah,
You know.
except that it ends up taking a lot of space in this room.
Yeah. Are you the chairman?
know, it's amazing. They can understand what they're doing. When I've been teaching out my student how to improvise how to play, she's so, and that's what I'm doing. Like, trying to get her to understand the voices and words and not playing lots of close notes in the bass where it's so and with jazz, also I guess it depends on the songs too. I had a piano student years ago when I lived in Alabama. He liked to play jazz.
a lot.
All right. We still have some time.
She absolutely is one of my favorite people.
I have not met her.
I do art lessons with her on Wednesdays. Her daughter hired me.
Okay.
And she's just one of my favorite. And I had my Love is Love hat one day, and she started asking me about it, and I mentioned this congregation, you know.
Oh, nice.
She's so funny. Yeah.
días.
Buenos días.
Good morning. Bienvenidos a la Congregación Unitariana Universalista de Asheville. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville. My name is Claudia Jimenez, and I'm the Minister of Faith Development. Mi nombre es Claudia Jimenez y soy ministra de fe en esta congregación. Les damos la bienvenida. We welcome you. Congregante, congregant, or visitor, feligres o visitante, nos alegra que estén con nosotros. We are glad you are here. Queremos que sepan, we want you to know, que quien quiera que sea, whoever you are, a quien quiera que ame, whoever you love, de donde quiera que venga, wherever you come from.
Are you speaking?
Eres bienvenido aquí. You are welcome here. So this morning, I think some of us are out playing because our sermon today is about play. So I hope if you're not here, you're playing. And if you're at home, you're ready to play a little bit with us today. We will have a MadLibs service. How many of you are familiar with MadLibs? All right, so this is going to be fun. And it's inspired by the work of my colleague, Reverend Liz Weber, and by one of our Soul Matters packets from a few years ago, calling us to be a people of play. So this morning, I am grateful to be working with James Casara, who is our worship associate, Les Rogers, who is our Les Towns. I worked with a math teacher whose name was Les Rogers, and I notice I've been saying that more often. So Dr. Leslie Downs at the piano, and Jacob Simons is our AV, and I messed that up last time, so I got it right this time. So now that we've laughed a little bit, we've started on the right foot, let us prepare for worship with today's centering music.
As we light the chalice, let's consider these words by the Reverend Scott Taylor. Let this dancing light be our guide. Let it lure us into letting go of the worries, of the stiffness that sets in after all the striving, of the myth that productivity alone gives us purpose. This garden of life we've been given, it's a playground. The weeding can wait.
And our call to worship this morning is by Reverend Seth Carrier-Ladd. Wind that whispers through the willows, sun that sustains us, water that washes over willing earth and weathered stones, a smile shared and savored, a child's squeal of delight as they dance in the daisies and daffodils, the quiet joy of gathered community. This is the spirit of life and love that we call forth in our gathering this morning. May this Spirit infuse our hearts, fill our souls, and carry us forward like a wave on the ocean as we enter now into this sacred time and space. Let us worship together.
I have an important announcement, please. Just came my way. Okay. I'm asked by many that if you have cars that are parked on Bond on the corner, that you need to please move your car. The fire department is coming in to deal with a power line issue. So if your car is parked out there, please move so the fire folks can get through. Thank you.
Okay. And on that note, let us join in body or spirit, rise as you are able, and let us sing together. It was like, oh, I thought I forgot something. I'm like, oh no.
Never embarrassed.
So this morning, for our Time for All Ages, we are going to do a MadLibs together. And MadLibs it's basically a word game where you're telling a story or writing something and you're filling the blanks. So I'm going to ask our children and the adults in the room to help me out with this MadLibs. And this one, what do you see on the cover here? An earth. So this is a Love the Earth MadLibs, okay? So I'm going to ask you to share a noun or an adjective, and I'll explain what they are to make sure we're all on the same page. And James is going to keep track of your offerings because I just can't do it all. All right, so our first ask is a noun, which is the name of a place or a thing. Or a person, thank you. I think they know way more than I. So give me some nouns.
Church.
Church.
Got it.
All right.
Joe.
Joe, okay. Go ahead. Mustang. Okay, we're going to make that one plural. Our plural noun is Mustangs. All right, let me see if we need any other. And we need a couple more plural nouns.
Australia.
Australias. Where, by the way, aren't they playing the Women's World Cup, talking about play? And who won this morning against Germany? Go Colombia, 2-1. Woo-hoo! I was up early for that one. Okay, back to work. Plural nouns. Huh? Sports car. Okay, so we have sports cars.
And also, why is there a random piece of tape on your arm?
Oh, you know why? Because I am trying to be cool and keep this attached to my stole, which, do you like my stole? And maybe the tape came off, so thank you. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nouns. Yes?
I got 4.
Uh-oh.
I got church, Mustang, Australia, and sports cars.
You forgot Joe. Okay. Now, we need a verb, which is an action word.
Run.
Run.
Drive.
Drive. Another verb. Any other of the kids have verbs for me?
I have one.
Eat.
I have one.
Okay, hold on. All right, hold on. Let me see. We don't need any more. Sorry. But we're going to need to make a little correction here. Do you see where it says a place? You might want to put Australia where it says a place. Oh, okay. You see here?
Okay.
Oh, you have done that.
Yes.
Oh.
Missing something there.
Okay. So let's have another plural noun. Another. Unitarians. Okay. All right, I think I'm going to leave you for a minute, and I'm going to stand with my accomplice, because
Who's
I
not
have,
accomplishing very much. So
who
we'll
is
make
doing
this
a lot better than I am doing. Okay, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adjectives, 5 describing words to describe things. Silly.
Furry.
Silly, furry, sparkly, creepy.
A creepy, evil unicorn.
Wait, we just need the adjective. Which one of those do you want to use? We have creepy, so evil. All right. So we've got.
We need a place and we need something alive.
All right, a place and something alive.
Kangaroo.
A kangaroo.
Building.
Hold on. Kangaroo. Who said? Somebody said what?
Building.
Building. Somebody said building. We'll take building, a place.
For the place, okay.
All right. So now we have a story. James, what is the title?
MadLibs, a poem for Mother Earth. The only church that has any worth is the one that helps run Mother Earth. Her Mustangs are so pretty, from Australia to every city. There's no silly place to drive than our furry sphere. So we eat to make sure that it's always there. We can't leave our planet sparkly and defaced, or covered in Unitarians and creepy waste. There are things every kangaroo can do to make better sports cars for me and for you. That's why Job Day, I think I missed that one. We'll go with Job.
Job, yes.
Is an evil reminder to treat the building a little bit kinder.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your participation. And on that note, we're going to sing our littles, our children, to their classes. You will meet your teachers out in in Sandberg Hall. And if we have any visitors, parents, you are welcome to join your children to know where they are going to be and where you can pick them up. So now let us join together in singing our children to RE, Religious Education. Exploration. As you go, may joy surround you as you go. Go in peace. Know our love is with you always as you go. As you go. As you go, may joy surround you as you go. Go in peace. Know our love is with you always as you go. As you go. And always on Sundays when we gather, we make time to think about the joys, the sorrows, the grief, the pain, the things that we bring with us each day. Because even though there is beauty and joy and play, there is also a lot of challenge in our lives and in our world. So we make time to have a ritual where we light a candle for joys or sorrows that we bring with us today. And we are going to begin our time of centering with a prayer. So I invite you to just take a moment to ground yourself, your feet on the floor, feel your back against your chair, and close your eyes or lower your gaze as we listen to this prayer by Reverend Frederick Gillis. Spirit of love and compassion, spirit of community in which we share and find strength and common purpose. We turn our minds and hearts toward one another, seeking to bring into our circle of concern all those who need our love and support, those who are ill, those who are in pain, either in body or in spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. We are part of a web of life that makes us one with all humanity, one with all the universe. We are grateful for the miracle of consciousness that we share, the consciousness that gives us the power to remember, to love, and to care. Let us share a moment of silence together. And now let us begin our ritual. I invite you to come forward as you are able to light a candle. And if you would like a candle to be lit for you, please raise your hand so that we may do that. If you have lit a candle for a joy that you bring today, know that this congregation rejoices with you, and we will light a candle for those at home and any joys that they carry in their hearts. And if you have shared a candle or lit a candle because of a sorrow in your life, know that this congregation holds you in love and care. And if you are at home, a candle will be lit for your sorrows. And we will light a final candle in support and solidarity with our congregation in Plano, Texas, which last weekend was firebombed. Nobody was hurt. The building suffered damage, and that is being addressed. And we want you to know that these types of things create fear for ourselves also. So it's important that you know that here in our congregation, we're working to keep our building safe, to keep you safe, and there is an active plan to get processes in place. And we will, when Reverend Audette arrives, continue to find ways to support our congregation in Texas. So we just light that candle, hold them in love and in care this morning.
We're going to do a sing-along. Yes, that means you. We're actually doing 2 sing-alongs today. We're also going to sing along for the postlude. We'll be singing My Favorite Things. I think you know that song. But right now we're going to sing Heart Wide Open. Now you've heard the choir sing this song, and you probably know it. They're not here, but so we're going to watch a video of Leah Morris, who wrote it, and a virtual choir. And we're going to first, it's a short video, so we're going to listen to it, and you can sing lightly if you want to, hum along, and just hear it, and then we're going to play the video again, and we're going to sing along to it. Simon's done a great job of overlaying the words on the video, so you see where they are. They're 2 different parts, so I'm encouraging some of you to sing the main part and some of you to be brave and sing the second part. But we'll get to that, and then we're going to add something else when we do it again. All right, so here's our practice.
Keep your heart wide open, though the waves won't push you around. You got to keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground.
And here's the other part for the brave people.
I'm gonna keep your heart. I'm gonna keep wide open. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Though the waves want to push you around. Though the waves want to push me around. I'm gonna keep your heart. I'm gonna keep wide open. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open until my faith brings me back to solid ground. Until my faith brings me back to solid ground.
Let's stop it there, Simon.
I'm gonna keep your heart.
Simon, let's stop it there, and we'll start it again. So I think you've heard it enough times. Now you can do it, so let it rip. Now I noticed, this is on you now. I noticed there's only one drummer, so I think we need more percussion, so we have drums available. If you so choose, pick up your drum. So we'll let Leah introduce it, and then when other people start singing, that's when you start singing. So let's roll it again, and here we go.
Keep your heart wide open.
Good.
Though the waves won't push you around. You got to keep till the day brings me back to solid ground.
Here's the other part.
I'm gonna keep your heart. I'm gonna keep what I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Those ways want to push me around. Those ways want to push me around. I'm gonna keep your heart. I'm gonna keep what I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Till my days brings me back to solid ground. Till my day brings me back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep your heart. I'm gonna keep what I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Those ways want to push me around. Those ways want to push me around. I'm gonna keep your heart. I'm gonna keep what I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Till my day brings me back to solid ground. Till my day brings me back to solid ground.
I think I'll give you a B+ for that.
That was fun. So first, I want to let you know that the pink shirt today is strictly by chance. It wasn't like in Simpatico with the new Barbie movie, but I do plan to see it later this week, okay? Let's be clear. So as most of you know, I've spent my life as an elementary school art teacher, wrangling kids into some semblance of a line, reminding them to take their jackets and their book bags and their lunch bags and their glasses and their thermoses and whatever else they have that day back to class, knowing that full well some child will return 10 minutes later looking for something. And dodging paint. Very little of my clothing doesn't have some unidentifiable color on it, not to mention whatever substance they can cough, sneeze, or vomit out of their bodies. The stories I could tell. But among all that chaos, there was a certain beauty, a cacophony of kids creating art, making friends, discovering themselves, and just being kids. I loved it. And I could get goofy and playful with the best of them. The tough days could wear me down, but the good ones, which I'm glad to say were the majority, picked me right back up. And every so often, I'd have one of those days that was downright magical, where I'd go home reminded how fortunate I was to have had the ideal profession find me. Now, in my semi-retirement, I've gone back to the making of art. I've produced more in the last 5 years than I have in the previous 30. I do it nearly every day, challenging myself to get better and better. But I seldom make art that I would consider playful, and I miss that. Done not for a commission or to learn and improve a specific skill, but to make art just for the sheer joy of creation, to maybe tear up an old drawing and rearrange it in new ways, or to splash down color and not care how it comes out. To put pen to paper with my eyes closed and no idea where it might take me. Kind of the way kids do. I'm going to go back to that. Here at UUCA, I co-chair the Creativity Matters group, and my pledge for this coming year is to think less and to play more. To leave preconceived notions by the wayside and to make more art for art's sake. I'm going to see where it takes me. Thanks.
Thank you, James. That was the perfect introduction for a service on play. And it reminded me of being a teacher. I wasn't trained as an art teacher, but I did teach in a small school where we didn't have specialized teachers, so we had to integrate art into what we did. And not only did I have fun researching the lessons, putting things together, trying everything out first, because, you know, if I was going to ask the kids to do it, I had to know what the instructions were and make sure the supplies were adequate. But I remember a couple of times my principal coming into my classroom and she couldn't find me because I was sitting at the table with the kids doing art, because that was really fun. And then later, as a religious educator, you know, the same thing. I used to work in a church with a very small RE program, and I did a lot of craft preparing for the children. And again, I thought, like James, you know, how fun to have a job where you get to take breaks like that and have a little bit of fun between meetings and other things that you do in your job. And now, as a minister here, I don't work directly with the kids, but one of the things that I like to do is, between tasks in my office, I do this. And you know what? It makes me smile because it feels a little edgy to be in my office juggling between tasks. And it brings me joy. And so that's one of the fun things I do to break up my day. So as you've heard, this is a MadLibs service. And like our Time for All Ages, I've written an outline and we'll work together to fill in the details. So how will this work? I'm going to share a brief reflection, and then I'll ask you a question. And after the question, I'll give you a moment for silent reflection. And then whoever would like to share is invited to briefly share your thoughts or a story. And we'll repeat that process a few times, building on each other's words and stories. So together, we can playfully and with courage co-create today's sermon or homily or reflection. So what do you think? Are you in? Yeah. All right. So let's begin. The first question, and we have our ushers with microphones, so raise your hand, and I will respectfully let you know that because we want to move this along, if you do, because we get excited to share about fun stuff, right? So if you get a little too excited, I'm going to say, all right, let's let somebody else, and it's not because I don't like you or anything like that, it's because we need to move this along also. Okay, so here's our first question. When you were growing up, who was fun or playful in your life? When you were growing up, who was fun or playful in your life?
My name is Iris. When I was growing up, my dad was very serious. He was a physician. His practice was attached to our house. I didn't see a lot of him. However, every so often, he would do something kind of wacky and playful, like gather up all the neighborhood children who were a little scared of him, teach us all to sing Chattanooga Choo Choo, and go around to the homes, ring the doorbell, and sing. Or drop a bucket of water on someone's head and start a water fight. So serious and very playful.
Thank you. We've got two here.
One of my cherished memories is actually in a time that you might not think would be very happy and joyful. I was sitting on the hospital bed of my mother in her final hours, and as nurses and the doctors came in and left laughing, I remember two things that Mom told me. One was, never grow up, and two, which was not quite as playful, but one way that I want to play more myself, is that she wished that she had traveled more. But she always was playing, and she never even at, 85, 87, something like that, never completely grew up because she always kept that playful part of herself.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Roger Winchell. Mine is quite short. My mother was instrumental in trying to get us to read at a very early age. And the way she would do this is she would get a comic book, and she would start at the back and read everything, every word in reverse. I mean, start at the end and finish it up. And we were always in stitches at the end of it. So I encourage you all to try this with your own kids.
That's super playful. And we'll have one more.
Growing up, I had a really funny friend, Bobby, and he was a wonderful practical joker. After one of our 8th grade festivals, we had a large papier-mâché horse that had wheels on it. Somehow Bobby got it, and in our neighborhood, he brought it down to my house and got my best friend to go on it. And he rode us clear up to the Frisch's Big Boy and had us go to one of the outside ordering things and order a Coke, a couple Cokes, and when they came out, we were sitting on that papier-mâché horse with wheels on it.
Thank you. So we've heard a little bit about people that are playful, that have been playful in our lives. So I wonder what forms of childhood play have lasted into adulthood for you? Any of those childhood playful times when you were engaged and immersed and lost in play, have any of those manifested in adulthood?
Okay, hi, my name's Sean. I might sound really boring, but I'm probably here for a good reason. My play was kind of solitary, sitting and reading and losing myself in new worlds. Mm-hmm. And I think specifically when I first started reading like Greek mythology.
Thank you.
That still lasted. I love reading it.
Yes.
I still have Barbies all over my bedroom. I really do.
Hey, I'm Kelly. Bike riding as a kid, riding around the neighborhood and just having all that independence. So I still bike ride. I stopped my face with my bike yesterday, and I have plans to get back on my bike because there's something about like the freedom, but also the challenge and the adventure and the daredevil. It's a little edgy, so I like that word. Yeah.
We have one over here.
When I was a kid, I would horrify my parents and siblings by collecting dead bugs, bees' nests, anything I could find in the woods that was gross or creepy. And somehow as an adult, not only do my children collect those things, but I still am like, look, a moth, guys. And I hope they will take it in their own collection so it's not so weird.
Great. So yes, reading and collecting are definitely forms of play.
When I was a teenager, like probably a lot of you, I used to stand in front of the mirror with my best friend making up songs and dances to like Proud Mary, and I still, that just brings me so much joy to sing and dance.
Good morning, I'm Connie, and when I was a kid, I was a feral kid. I was always climbing something in the woods, whatever, and I lost that for a while when I was in college at Western, which is weird, but I got back into exploration, and like when I would go to Craggy after when everything was blooming and but it'd be foggy, it was like going into a fairy world, and I did that as an adult, not as a child, so exploration was my form of play.
So we know that play is important for children's development. And in the fast-paced life of adulthood, play is often misconstrued as a waste of time, as distracting from productivity. Or it isn't that something that adults do. Play researchers have recognized that play helps adults to keep the brain flexible, ward off depression, sustain optimism, and sharpen social emotions. Soccer icon Dave Beckham plays with Legos to control stress. and former Prime Minister David Cameron was known to decompress after a long day of work by playing the video game Angry Birds. Dr. Stuart Brown, a play researcher, defines play as any activity that brings a sense of pleasure and joy done for its own sake, rather than for any practical purpose. And he says that play can take so many forms, that it is as unique as each person's fingerprint. And so my question is, when now in adulthood, when do you play and when do you know it's time to switch gears and play?
One of the ways that I play, and I'm Steph, by the way, is by writing. And one of the things that I've been writing about recently is just this idea of recreation or relaxing. And the way that I had been, up until I started writing about this, approaching play was that play was what I did at the end after, it's what I do at the end of the week, it's what I do, when the year has kind of come to a close or whatever. And what I realized actually was that play is actually how I recharge. So why am I waiting until the end when I have no energy to play? Why don't I actually start the day with play and start with more energy rather than play with less energy?
Thank you. Over here.
Hello, everyone. That was an amazing sing-along. Thank you so much. That was really fun. My name is Elizabeth, and one way that I play is through creating music. I never felt like a musician growing up and still don't. But in the pandemic, I learned how to be a song leader. So I really enjoyed that and know who Leah Morris is because we studied her. But it's really hard to be a song leader with no people. So I started writing songs, and one thing I did learn how to do was on GarageBand, it's 90 seconds if you don't change it. And so I would just ask the universe for a topic and write a song in 90 seconds.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And I'm learning how to play the Native American flute. If anyone's interested, there's a beautiful man in Clyde, 2 lessons for only $75. And he doesn't really teach you, so play through the art of playing, through exploring. I love how you corrected education into exploration. So how about we play with the topic of how do I play more? Mm-hmm. And so, thank you.
Thank you. Bernice, did you have your hand up?
My name's Bernice, and I guess my play comes spontaneously. I had the best time. You know the things that you blow out and then, yeah, right? They come out, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I've been holding on to one of those for like a long time. And Julia was sitting in her chair, and she had her earbuds in, and I knew she couldn't hear me coming. And so I came up behind her and I blew it, and she was so engrossed. The first one hit her shoulder, so she didn't react. The next one got her right on the ear, and she flailed like a bug. She was going after that bug. It was hysterical. And she has gotten me so many times, so many times. But this one made up for a bunch of them.
Thank you, Bernice. And a final thought on play for this morning. Naturalist and writer Diane Ackerman describes deep play as occurring in moments of intense enjoyment, focus, control, creativity, timelessness, and a lack of self-awareness, while doing things intrinsically worthwhile, rewarding for their own sake. She says that it is deep play that makes thrill-seeking explicable, creativity possible, and religion inevitable, right? And when we think about thrill-seeking, deep play does not require death-defying acts of grandeur. That's not what she's getting at. She says something complex like a game of chess, something simple like sitting still and watching every movement of a bird at a feeder, which is something so many of us learned to do during COVID. So my question, with this in mind, what activities do you pursue that allow you to be immersed in the moment and free from the anxiety of the past or the future?
I'm Mary Ann, and I would like to thank you for making me feel less guilty about playing solitaire on my computer. I'm involved in a lot of activities and busyness and doing things also on my computer, and it's just such a relief to turn off all that other stuff and just do this mindless game over and over and over.
Thank you. I am very bad at play. I cannot do it by myself. But I have a guide who will come find me wherever I am at home, take me by the hand, and make me play. He is 3.5. And I thank him every day for reminding me that the dishes can wait and the laundry will be okay. And he needs the play, and I need the play. And so other people, that communal play with him has opened me up to communal play with people of all ages. And I really thank him for that.
Thank you. And we have one more.
Sorry, Marianne. Because I work on the computer, my play has to be without electricity. It has to be offline. And I started spinning, making yarn with a wheel. And it takes no electricity, and it takes both hands and both feet, and you have to be there. And it's very technical, but it also has great feel and touch and sensibility and rhythm. And you can make whatever you want. It doesn't have to be disciplined. It can be crazy and frenetic, and sometimes those are the most beautiful yarns too.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I can imagine that there are more conversations to be had around play. So I invite you during coffee hour this morning to find each other and maybe talk to someone that you don't know and share with them something that you enjoy doing or how you play. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and your stories. And I hope that you were able to recall moments of play when you felt lost, and it was just immersion in delight and beauty and fun, tactile or physical or mental. And I hope you consider, as James shared, maybe participating in artistic play by signing up for Creativity Matters, or participating in wordplay by signing up for UU Writers, which will launch in the fall. But regardless, may we all find ways to infuse play into our daily routines at work, in retirement, in relationships, at home, and in our time alone. Friends, we live in challenging times and face many struggles in our communal lives. And there is also much beauty and possibility before us. May playfulness and joy help keep us engaged and hopeful as we strive to live into our Unitarian Universalist values this week and every week. May you go forth in playfulness. May it be so. And I think we are going to sing, because that's play. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do, oh Lord. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you gotta sing, oh Lord. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you gotta dance, oh Lord. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. You gotta play when the Spirit says play. You gotta play when the Spirit says play. When the Spirit says play, you gotta play, oh Lord. You gotta play when the Spirit says play. Woo!
And now for the work of our congregation. If you are visiting with us online, please introduce yourself in the chat box. We really do want to know that you're out there. For those that are visiting in person, welcome. Please stand and wait for one of the ushers to bring you a microphone. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're coming from, if you've moved here recently or if you're visiting. And after today's service, we invite you to join us out in Sandberg Hall for refreshments and conversations. We would really love to get to know you better and to answer any questions you might have about our congregation. Is there anyone who is feeling empowered to stand up and introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Pat Lamanna. I'm the president of the UU Fellowship of Poughkeepsie, New York. This is Richard Maddox, my partner. We just came down from a week at the Swananoa Gathering, which you may know about. I took a songwriting class with Tom Paxton. We had a wonderful time, lots of singing. And just one other thing I wanted to say, we have a dear friend who was a member of our congregation, Margie Waters, who was very excited about a year ago to have been invited to be director of religious exploration here, I believe. I mean, she said it was the UU of Asheville. Tragically, she passed away just before she was going to be moving up here.
Wow.
So we've been thinking a lot about her this week.
Welcome. Others? That's okay. Sometimes we have many, sometimes we have a few, but they're always welcomed. Our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service. If you miss them, please just refer to Wednesday's weekly e-news, as everything is described there. If you don't receive the e-news, ask any of the ushers, how do you sign up to get them? There's so much great information going through that weekly send out. This morning, Reverend Claudia has a special announcement she'd like to share.
Indeed I do. So this week I had an opportunity to attend a workshop at the YWCA on reparations. And as many of you know who live here in Asheville, we have a commission that has been called to work on reparations for our community. And we are really in the spotlight all over the country because this conversation is happening in many places. So my announcement to you today is an invitation to consider supporting reparations by signing a pledge to acknowledge that reparations are due, to acknowledge that you support the Reparations Commission and that you will encourage our elected officials to take action when the report is submitted, because it is being submitted within the next week or so. So I know you're not supposed to take your phones out when you are in service, but if you really want to support and not forget to support reparations, just send yourself an email or make a note to visit the Racial Justice Coalition website and support the pledge, because it's important for our community and our elected officials know that we support the work. And be on the lookout for my blog in 2 weeks, and I will be sharing a lot of my notes and what I've learned about what's happening with reparations. Thank you, James.
Of course. Thank you, Reverend Claudia. Our community plate recipient this month is Blue Note Junction, an entrepreneurial hub that not only supports the health and the wealth of the local BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color community, but promotes the spiritual and emotional and economic health of our entire city. You can always donate by check, but be sure today to write Community Plate on the memo line so the money goes directly to them. You can also donate online. If you are visiting here for the first time, please allow the plate to pass you by. This service is our gift to you, and your presence is gift enough to us. Today's offering will now be gratefully and collected and received. Thank you, Les, for the gifts of your time, your presence, and your talents and treasure. We are grateful.
Thank you. Our closing words this morning are written by Reverend Susan Carlson. We leave blessed by our connections to one another and to the spirit of life. Walk lightly that you see the life that is below your feet. Roll slowly so that you may also see what is beneath you. Spread your arms as if you had wings and could dance through the air. Feel the joy of the breath in your lungs and the fire in your heart. Live to love and be a blessing on the earth. And don't forget to play. Let us join in song for when we close. It's a prayer. Our closing song is a prayer, so please take time to bless each other before we leave, and then participate in our sung postlude. And if you would like, I've set up a table in Sandburg Hall, so we might write cards of encouragement to our fellow UUs in Texas. So please feel free to do that, and I will get them in the mail this week. Thank you. Let us sing together and bless each other. May the long-time sun shine upon you, and all love surround you. May the pure light within you guide your way home. May the long-time sun shine upon you, and all love surround you. May the pure light within you guide your way home. Roses and roosters and kittens, bright copper kettles and northern witches, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbell and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. White dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee sings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and I don't feel so bad. Thank you. Sandburg Hall. Thank you, James. That was fun.
Didn't know if I was supposed to extinguish the chalice, but we'll do so.
Let's do that, yes.
Hi.
I loved everything you did today. It's a sort of a rule of observation.
Sure.